maybe saying something.
Live.
And we're live.
And in the flesh.
Oh my gosh, so good to be back.
We missed you.
I know, it was fun. Thank you for holding down the fort for me.
I tried.
I heard you did a great job, and I heard that Dan had a lot of fun.
We had a fun time.
I know, I'm so excited. That was really nice. I really appreciate it. I had work. I have another job in life, and it called me away.
I will say there was a moment that I could feel the like anxiety creeping up my spine, and I was like, "Oh my god, I'm responsible for this right now." And so it definitely was overwhelming for a second, but we had a good time, and we approached
I'm so glad.
I love the way that Natasha asked us to try them side by side because it gave us a direct approach of the wines right next to each other versus how we normally do it. Try the first one and then go to the second one. So it was
but I mean, it was a comparison, so it made sense to do it that way. So that's really cool.
Yes.
So I forgot to say, it's Charlotte and Jessica.
It is. Oh, who we
Coming
are.
to you live from Pensacola, Florida, at Aragon Wine Market. Oh,
that's right. Are we too close? That's right. Pensacola, Florida, the upside of Florida. We're right here in the Panhandle. And in the beautiful downtown Pensacola.
I know. We're so lucky to have this beautiful area.
So beautiful.
It's so spring right now. The air is springy. It's a little chill, but it's still very nice.
Absolutely.
We've been doing some events at the store.
We have.
Jessica can tell us about those.
It's been so much fun. So last weekend we had this adorable birthday party, but it was a couples tasting. The wife wanted to surprise her husband because she was like, we've been so wrapped up with our lives and planning our son's birthday party, which is coming up in a few weeks, that like I haven't really had time to focus on him. And she was like, I just want to do something fun for my husband. And so we did a private tasting.
That's
the
nice.
two of them. I had a little cheese and charcuterie board, and tried some wines that were in the realm of wines that he liked to drink normally. And it was a fun little evening for you.
Fun.
I know. I was like, I didn't even tell you that this happened while you were out.
No, I know, because I was, like I said, I had work and I was so busy, and that's why I wasn't here last week. And Jessica stepped up and just did everything, so I didn't even have to worry about it. And I love the fact that you did that.
And tastings were about it.
No, I came in that. I think I came in that night. I was like, there's people out in the courtyard, and
we have flowers. We can make flowers happen for your little events. Just a shout out to Fleur Zoe Florals, which is out of Fairhope and the Panhandle. Yeah, it's also my beautiful sister. She dropped these off for us today, and I was like, "Well,
so pretty."
We gotta like highlight.
I mean, you can't even see how beautiful. I mean, you can, but I know they're incredible. I know.
What?
I know, you walk in and you're just like, oh my god, those are incredible.
So shout out. I felt like we couldn't let the show go by without mentioning how gorgeous
they were. I honestly feel like, Jessica is a party planner. So I will say, of course, you're always welcome to have a party here. But the other thing is, if you are planning a party, feel free to reach out to her, irrespective of our store, because she's got a lot of great connections.
We did take some autonomy last week and talk about that with Dan and her involvement in events. It was fun to talk about.
So Tap the Coast
and our
is
partnership.
Such a fun thing. They do the kegs on tape or on wine on tap.
Mm-hmm. It was the initial concept was a 1978 retrofitted camper that had been modified into a tap. It's so cool because it's literally like a Winnebago on the outside with a tap wall, and on the inside it's a photo booth.
I know, it's super cool.
Oh my god, so cool! I know somebody that might be using it for their wedding. But then they also have a modified horse cart, which is an older literally a horse trailer that they've modified into a tap wall, and then they have a literal tap wall. It's just a mobile wall
it's really neat.
That they can tie in either beer, and then there are tons of beautiful wines that are in a keg form or in a barrel form, and then they also do a lot of focus on canned wines, which we
have canned wines in right now
store.
For the spring. Oh my god! So we're starting to get in so many canned wines, and I know that people are kind of like, is that a thing?
It's so a thing.
And in this area, for sure, you have to have canned wines. I mean, they're great for the pool. They're great for the boat. They're great for the beach. first of all, the pools around here, you're not allowed to bring
No
cans.
glass.
The beach, you will get fined if you bring a can or a glass on the beach.
And if you leave the can, you should get fined. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Only leave your footprints.
That's true.
Let's move on.
Yeah. So, in any event, there is
we digress.
only a few more of our virtual wine tastings left.
In theory.
In theory, we'll see. But we're planning on April 1st, which is a Thursday,
right
to
around
start our very first in-store. And I say in-store, I mean in the courtyard. We're going to have them outside in the courtyard. And we're still under masking mandate, so we'd ask you to wear your mask when you're not drinking, if you're just walking about. So those start April 1st. And we're so excited to see you guys back. It's been a year since we've had in-store wine tastings, and that's all we used to do. This was foreign to us when we first started. This was ridiculous. We were like, what are we going to do? And it was the very first one was just us. We had no idea. And, now we have all these great people from, who's joining us tonight and all the great winemakers.
I know. Not to interlude into our guest that is joining us tonight. I mean, we literally to approach it from, oh my gosh, it's been a year.
Yeah.
We, a year ago, opened this model up of how do we promote these beautiful wines? How do we share these incredible, wines with our consumers that come from all different types of vineyards, all different type of importers from all around the world that are not necessarily found on the grocery store shelves. I can't talk. And so it was a great model to approach that. But, now we have back with us someone that joined us from the very beginning. I know. And that's really cool because the Montreve, the Carignan, and the Colombard, the
so many great
since
wines.
we promoted that,
we
literally can't keep it on the shelf.
I know.
Every
I
week
buy
it's
it and it's gone.
gone.
I buy it and it's gone. I should
Every
maybe
week.
buy more than I'm buying, apparently, because it's
wonderful and very palatable for everything that we do in our region.
Yeah, and great price points. All the price points are incredible.
Unique and affordable.
Yeah.
And that's where we kind of came into this week, or how I approached the newsletter for our guests and for our customers was, amazing, unique, and affordable sustainable wines that come from amazing producers.
Right.
And it's from the master, but they literally
the master.
Good on that. That was how I approached the newsletter. So unique, and affordable, and sustainable.
So how this works is that, hopefully you've got the wines with you for tonight.
We sold out last
Tortoise
week.
Creek.
We re-upped.
We sold out and we re-upped. And so the Tortoise Creek wines are the ones we're featuring tonight. At the end of this broadcast, we'll tell you which wines we're doing for next week. And please come out and get them and join us again next week.
And please ask your questions. It's fun for you as our consumers to take the wines home and possibly enjoy it immediately. Certainly if you're watching the live broadcast, we want you to be able to comment and ask your questions. And even if it's not something that's specifically related to the wine, maybe it's of the region or indicative of the grape itself. Any question, ask us a question, please. We'd love to hear your feedback and some of your thoughts as we go through the wines.
So without further ado, we'll bring in the master of the wines.
Hello.
Charlie.
Hello, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Happy Thursday.
Yes.
Happy Thursday. So nice to see you again. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you for being out there and getting great wine into people's hands. You guys are amazing.
Of course. I mean, and you as well.
I know.
Absolutely.
I cannot wait to come out there. And as soon as I can come down there, I would be honored to come and be part of that outdoor festivities. That would be magic.
We would love that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We also have Michael Fix, Michael Fix, who always gets things going for us. And we are
Hello.
Hi, Michael. So nice to see you again. Thank you guys so much for joining us. So, Charlie, You guys do a lot of great wines, and we mentioned a couple of them before. But we're going to focus on Tortoise Creek tonight. Can you tell us a little bit about Tortoise Creek and your participation in how it started?
Yeah, of course. So Tortoise Creek was actually a brand that was started by my mother and my father, who, have been married for 56 years, and they fell madly in love back when they were very young, and they had a house in the south of France with a little creek in the backyard and little tortoises living in the creek.
That's so cute.
And they named these tortoises hectoliter and milliliter. And of course, the kids.
They named them what?
Hecto and Millie. So if I share my screen, I can show you a picture. Can I share my screen?
Of course.
Let me show you guys the actual original
tortoises of
Tortoise Creek.
Oh my gosh. So I did have a little turtle when I was a young girl named Speedy and Speedy 1. Speedy and Speedy 2 or something. But
can you guys see that?
Not seeing it yet.
Oh, okay.
But my father, there was a salmonella thing, and so my father made me get rid of him.
That's actually
here it comes.
Indicative of turtles.
It was so
sad.
Salmonella. Yes,
they did. It was so sad. So I lost my turtles.
Can you guys see the turtles there?
Yes.
Well, we see the Tortoise Creek. We not the turtles.
So that's the cartoon first. I'm going to show you. So
yes, they're so cute drinking.
This is the actual original label of Tortoise Creek. So when we first,
I like the original label.
I think I'm a fan of the original label as well.
So
maybe
cute.
you should bring it back.
And when we first started the Tortoise Creek brand, it was all French wines, and so this was during the Iraq War.
Oh.
And so we wanted to sell French wine without having the connotation of people thinking it was from France. And so Les Amoureux. So this is the creek. The original creek is actually this picture here. Let me show you the original creek. But this is my mother and my father. So those band leader is on the right. That's my dad. And there's Janie.
I actually shared that picture in our newsletter. That specific picture.
That is amazing. So that she is the one who named these characters. And now you've got these amazing, and I know it looks quirky and weird to have these tortoises like this surfing, right?
No, I love them.
Dorky picture, but this was Les Amoureux means the lovers. And so Hecto is the tortoise on the right, and Millie is the wife on the left.
Oh, so cute.
Hecto and Millie.
We have an affinity for turtles here because of the National Island Seashore here in Pensacola and on the Emerald Coast. We are literally a turtle nesting ground here, and so without even knowing
speaking our language.
We need this wine here because it absolutely is indicative of things that mean something to us. I love this label.
Well, because of the tortoises, it was very important to us to be very sustainable because, you can also see on the bottom corner there's Senti. So it's Hecto, Millie, and Senti. There's the little kid on the bottom corner. And then Les Amoureux means the lovers. So
cute.
My mother and father, of course, the original creek is this picture. So this was the actual creek that those tortoises lived in back in Provence. And so, but always... we have been making these sustainable wines, and here's a picture of my dad and I when we were bringing up these wines. So this is
so cute.
me tasting wines when I was a little guy on the top right there.
What is that? You?
Yeah, the little guy. That's me when I was a little kid. So I was probably I think 3 years old in that picture, 1973, and that was when we owned the vineyards in Provence. And I was tasting my father's wine. You could see the bottle down there. This is the actual bottle of.
That's so cute.
He was importing George Duboeuf Beaujolais Nouveau into America back in the 70s.
Oh my God!
Yeah, and then
really?
This is my father and I when I was 16 in Bordeaux. We were actually in Saint-Emilion, and this was before I worked at Chateau Prix-Lachine, and I spent 3.5 years working at Chateau Prix-Lachine in Margaux before we actually started Tortoise Creek. And then this is me and my father when we owned Les Jamel. And so Les Jamel was a wine that we owned that was named after Janie and Mel, my mom and dad. And of course, with all their passion of food and wine, this was their celebration of love. So let me show you a picture of how we make these wines. This is a picture of us blending the wine. And there's my mom. And my mom is a chef. She was one of the first females back in the 60s to be able to
There we go.
create and work with Paul Bocuse, one of the most
Oh, yeah,
famous
that's
chefs
super
in
cute.
France. And so having a chef at the table helping us blend wines, and you could see that lazy Susan with all these wines in front of us. We taste about 300 wines a day in a 4-hour period.
Crazy.
And this is the way we do. This is a 1-hour meeting. Yeah, with 25 wines that we taste in about 1 hour. So that's a morning in France, y'all. That's how we get these wines.
That's a good
But
one.
we also do that's in the same thing we do in California, which is these vineyards here. Like, hopefully you guys have some of those wines in your. This is the actual Cabernet Sauvignon vine in Lodi. It's actually Clarksburg.
Yeah. Beautiful. Oh,
Like-
yeah. We're going to ask you about that later because we will get to the cab in a bit, but that's a beautiful, gnarly little picture.
That is, those vines are between about 45 and 65 years old. You can see they're pretty aged, but it's interesting because a grapevine, the older it gets, it produces less fruit, but when it gets old, it produces much better fruit. So it's like as humans, when we're young as humans, we can do, 10 things in a day, but only at 20%. Well, I'm 51. I do like 7 things a day at like 40, 50%. My dad's 45. He does like 2 things a day at like a 98% perfect every time.
Isn't that so crazy to think that we're getting so old? And that's a great way to think about it. Like, I do this at that percentage. Like, my mom's 84. She probably does everything at 1% at this point, right?
Yeah, I'm going to stop sharing. I just want to see your guys' faces again. Here, hold on.
Hi.
There we go. Hey.
Yeah.
So I got more pictures, but I want to talk a little bit about that because sustainability is a really important part about what we do. And I think
like that.
You could see those pictures of vines. There was all the vegetation in between the rows of vines. And I think it's very important to note that, back before World War I and World War II, most of the wines in the world were created with sustainable farming because, people had the time. And then after those 2 wars, a lot of the males on the planet were killed because of 50% of them on the planet because of these wars. And so they ended up using a lot of unfortunate pesticides and chemicals to make the job easier for farming because there were not a lot of men to do that hard labor back in those days. And so that's one of the reasons that kind of farming and agriculture has gone the direction of using so many pesticides and fertilizers. And it's very important also to point out that I think great chefs, the best ingredients you can get are usually ones that are organic or sustainable. They taste so much more like what they should. You can taste more tomato, right? It's
amazing to taste the difference. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and it's the same with grapes. And so when you're using grapes like that with our Tiamo organic wines from Italy or the Tortoise Creek wines from California or even Montgravé, even though Montgravé, we don't have the sustainable certification, but all our practices are sustainable. And what sustainable means is we're catching rainwater, we're using solar power, we're introducing a tree with an owl farm on the top of the tree to the vineyard to attract owls to kill rodents. We have a problem during the harvest where we have deer and wild boar that come into the vineyard and eat the grapes. And so we have motion detectors on the corners of the vines. And when the animal comes in the vineyard to eat some of our grapes, the motion detectors go off. And we have a little speaker in the middle of the vineyard that blasts out Rolling Stones for about 5 seconds. And and we used
Rolling
to use
Stones, that's what you said?
Well, we used to use Justin Bieber, but it pissed off our neighbors. So we're like, we'll use Led Zeppelin or Rolling Stones.
Might be better.
Yeah.
I think Led Zeppelin, Immigrant Song.
You're right.
Oh, that's a good one.
Right at the top. That's big, yes.
So we're talking 5 seconds here. That's it. And that little scary. Well,
it's not note right now. I so would have, but I am not vocally formed.
I think you might should change it to the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin.
I think we should. Yeah.
That's a good suggestion.
But it's literally just a little bit of quality music that gives enough of a scare to the animal to make it run away without using chemicals as a fertilizer.
Absolutely.
And that's such a cool idea. And I mean, you guys have been doing that for a while.
Yeah.
But it still seems so new, even though you guys have been doing it for a while. But I mean, it always to me, it always seems so surprising that, that's the way it's done.
There are some true pioneers too. I mean, like Randall Graham, Bonnie Doon, he was always
Yeah,
very
for sure.
adamant about using screw tops and, not using a lot of chemicals, using native yeasts. And like, there's quite a lot of winemakers, I think, that are like that. I mean, back 20 years ago, it didn't make a lot of financial sense. There was a lot of people mismarketing, I think, wines back in the days in the 80s and 90s when we were calling box wine Chablis. And people in France were like, wait a second, you can't call that box wine.
Right.
And, like America got into a lawsuit with France about that. But like there's wines out there now that are so focused, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to get a really well-made wine, I think.
Yeah.
And it's important. I think another thing that I feel is like, what we can give to Mother Nature to make the plant grow stronger is going to make a better wine for us, and it's going to help the environment.
Sure.
So our children and our children's children can use that same soil to make better wine, hopefully, because of the practices that they come up with that are perhaps better than what we have. So
yeah, for sure.
Absolutely. Sure. And I think that has been the ongoing, it may have started perhaps with your show, but,
Maybe,
but since you were one of the beginning, shows of our virtual wine tasting. But throughout the last year has been an ongoing thing of sustainability, from the approach of what are we leaving for the generations behind us? What are we producing, right now? What effect does it have not only on the land, but on everything that follows? Right. And then for us, it became, I think, the front line of our mission. You think about a mission, vision, values of an organization, and like our kind of mission as Aragon is unique and affordable wines, and highlighting wines that people are like, oh, well, do you have this? And it's like, well, no, but 10 other grocery stores might have it, and it's probably great, but we have this.
You know what?
Yeah, that's
I'm really glad you brought that up, because I remember when I was growing up and I was getting in the wine business when I was young, and one of the things that I think is very poignant is that when you see a wine that's been advertised, for example, in a wine store, you can imagine that advertisement is quite expensive. And so that's gonna raise the price of the wine. And so these more boutique wines, like Montgravé or Tortoise Creek, for that matter, they're small family production. We work with small family farmers. We're a small family business. You're not going to see us like case stacked at supermarkets or advertised online. But when you do find our wines, it's usually because of wonderful people like you guys who are passionate about wine like we are. And a lot of these wines were found the first time we tried this Cabernet that you guys are going to try later, the Tortoise Creek, was driving around these little beautiful areas, in Montecito or, Monterey, and like finding these beautiful little farmed produced wines that were served in the local restaurants in the areas.
Yeah, it was just so neat.
Yeah, so that's what makes them, I think, so affordable.
So let's start one of our wines. We've got the Cab and the Zin on deck tonight. So which would you say, Cab first? Or
I would say
first?
Cab first. The Cabernet, our Cabernet is very soft and delicate.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and this actually is 50% from Monterey, California, and 40% from Paso Robles, and
I love Paso Robles.
Yeah, and 10% from Clarksburg, which is right above Lodi.
Clarksburg is not very much well known. Tell us a little bit about that.
Clarksburg is like right in the Sierra foothills. So
that's getting very popular.
Yeah, you got the San Joaquin Delta on one side, and then you have the Sierra foothills on the other. So it's got this really nice pocket where you have actually the medium temperature there is almost similar to Sonoma. So you've got these cold mornings and these really hot days. And I think just like us humans, like I was talking about earlier, with age, with a plant produces less when it gets older, but what it produces is better. Well, it's the same with grapevines. When they get really stressed out, the more stress that a plant goes through, the stronger it becomes, and the deeper the roots go, and the more it can extract and make these really powerful grapes. And so that's very important. And so you need floods and drought and like too much cold and too much heat. All of that makes the plant more strong. So That's a really cool part of this area, Clarksburg. You have a lot of these flash floods sometimes, you have
Yeah.
drought periodically, you have cold mornings sometimes, and you have freezing. And so all of those components kind of make this plant much more durable and powerful that makes a better wine.
So we don't hear much about that area. So thank you for sharing that with us. So this cab, is it it's 100% cab?
It is 100% cab, that vintage. And the vintage that we had before, we added a little bit of Petite Syrah in it. But this
Okay.
vintage, it was such a delicate, elegant vintage. And for us, Cabernet, I mean, if you swirl this wine and smell it, it smells like cassis, which is blackberries or blackcurrants. It also smells like eucalyptus, and it smells a little bit like leather and coffee. And all of these things are really from not just the skin, but also the soil that the grapes are grown in. And we have these two different soils in play here. Monterey, a little bit more coastal, and then you have Clarksburg and Castle, that's a little bit hotter.
Right. Well, I mean, it's delicious tasting to me. And what a great price point it is, always.
It is, and
Really approachable.
you know what's cool about this wine too is if I serve this wine cold in the summertime, and when it's hot out, this wine cold, it's not as soft and delicate. It becomes more fruity and more vibrant. And when you serve it chilled, you can have it with like grilled asparagus and grilled, salmon and like these barbecue things that you have in the summertime. I mean, it also complements chocolate very well when you have it at room temperature, right? But if the chocolate has to be like, dark chocolate, because milk chocolate has a little bit too much sugar, but dark chocolate has a bitterness that really holds up to this wine. So this wine's very dynamic. It goes with different food. You can have it with really spicy food like jerk chicken, and that acidity will help put that fire out in your mouth.
Oh yeah.
I can
feel
see
that,
that.
for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and you said asparagus. Asparagus is such a weird vegetable to pair stuff with. But
really
I mean,
is.
this wine seems super versatile,
Yeah,
and I can see that.
Parmesan cheese, and some truffles with this wine. I mean, I know that most people would want to have Sauvignon Blanc with that, and I get it. But if you like red wine, this Cabernet served chilled with those grilled asparagus with some lemon juice and some shaved Parmesan cheese and some white truffle oil, or fresh white truffles, even better.
So I'm chomping at the bit because my mind went to this and I was like, oh, don't say that. It's not gonna work or won't make sense. But at the same time, I want like a mushroom risotto, like truffle oil mushroom risotto type of dish that has that kind of smokiness that you might get from like the barbecue, I guess, or from like a meat with like a portobello. Let's say like a portobello risotto. But the truffle oil and the Parmesan brings in that like creaminess to it. I would totally pair that with this.
Yeah.
And brisket. So
that sounds so good.
I'm so hungry.
I know. Yes. I'm like,
well, one of these days, let's do food and wine together. Like
it's got enough body in it to carry that, but it's not so overpowering that it would be overwhelming.
Yeah, I think some Cabernets, when you put the wine in your mouth, it'll make your lips stick to your teeth, and that's the tannin coming into effect.
Yeah.
And the tannin in this wine is very delicate and elegant, and so it's a little bit more structured. It's going to be able to make it go with so many more different things. It's not your typical Cabernet that's like really big and in your face and too tannic. It's a little bit more.
Yes, Josh said tonight we were just sampling wines before we came on the show, and he was like, "Oh my God, this is like a tannin bomb instead of like a fruit bomb. It's a tannin bomb." And to me, this is not a tannin bomb. It's got that.
No.
I wouldn't say it's a fruit bomb either, but it's got that more the fruit driven. It's a fruit driven stuff.
And Tannenbaums are good, and so is that movie. And I think there's a lot to be said about those style wines. It just depends on.
Can I just stop you there?
Go for it. Yeah, go for it.
So every Christmas it's Christmas to me, but it's Halloween. I do Royal Tannenbaums. My hair is a little long right now. Margot Tannenbaum. I'm I dress as her every Halloween. So
That's awesome. One thing I wanted to say about wine in general is like some people out there, that love Pinot Noir, and like Pinot Noir is an amazing grape, but there are so many different styles of Pinot Noir, just like there's so many different styles of Cabernet.
oh my
And
god,
We literally just tried one
I was
that
gonna
was
say,
the most Bordeaux style.
I can't tell the Pinots that we tried tonight were ranged from super acidic to I mean like the whole range.
It was an entire spectrum.
We drank the entire range of Pinots tonight.
I think and like every wine I think is like that. And it's just like with us humans, like when I am at a wine tasting or a wine dinner and someone says, they'll mention, a 99-point wine that Robert Parker loves. And I love Robert Parker, don't get me wrong. I love Michael Brabant too, but that's one guy. That's his opinion. And he might like Paul Blondes. I like short brunettes. And so for that one guy's opinion to mean that much is it's something that I think people need to take in consideration. That wine is a very individual thing. Like some people like peanut butter, some people don't like peanut butter. And it depends on your palate.
I think that's what popped into my mind just then was speaking in generalizations is something that we all, I think, perhaps should stop doing so much of. And that's something I've learned. When I came into this world a year ago, I was like, I don't like
the wine world.
When I came into this world a year ago, and I don't like Chardonnays. I don't like the butter bomb. I don't like the oaky, like so heavy.
Yeah.
And then Charlotte introduced. I don't care for that. It's not my favorite. But then I was introduced to Chablis, and I was introduced to stainless and concrete, and I was introduced to so many other methodologies that it was like, perhaps I should stop speaking in generalizations. It's just like I shouldn't date a Scorpio. We're not all like that. It's a generalization.
That's what makes this business.
That's a really important point.
That's what I think makes wine. It's as exciting as food, which from a female perspective, if you like men, is as exciting as men. Or from my perspective, it's as exciting as women. And as much as you study it and try to understand it, you're never going to figure it out. But that it makes you happy. And that's one cool thing about this business. It is. And there's so many cool ways of making wine. You might have one person that make, Merlot on one side of the street, and it's totally different, grown with the same soil, made from a woman on the other side of the street, from this guy on this side of the street. And it's because of the winemaking practices or the time they harvest the grapes or so many factors. It's so cool. Yeah. That's why I love it so much.
It's really beautiful.
You mentioned winemakers. Tell us about the winemaker that makes the Tortoise Creek.
So, in most cases, they are like family to us. So we've been working with these people since, more than 15 years. And so we've seen their kids, working in the vineyards, back when I was younger, and we'd meet them, and now they've all grown up and they're taking over for their fathers and their mothers.
Right.
And these people are just as passionate. And it's great because, one side of the family might be more farming, whereas the brother on the other side wanted to be the enologist, wine scientist. And so between their families, they own this piece of land, and they're just doing what they love to do, which is to grow the best possible grapes that they can grow. And then we're fortunate enough to have that relationship with those people, which makes these wines so affordable that we can buy that total production of this amazing juice. So they don't have to sell it to several different people. They can just sell it to one person.
Yeah, that's really neat. I love that. When do you think you'll go back?
I love it. I can't wait. As soon as, I mean, I've been wanting to go a couple of times in the last 4 months, but
of course,
in some cases, like some of our properties, because we make wine in Italy and France, and in some of those cases, they're getting to a point where you have to have, like a QR code that proves that you have a vaccination to get in that area.
So I will say that I got my vaccines. I got my vaccine last weekend, the second one. So
let's party, girls. I can't wait. Let me come down there and do a wine dinner. Like, come on. I'm not scared. I'll do a patio wine dinner with you guys. It'll be so much fun. Seriously, I cannot wait.
Let's plan it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're already in the works of scheduling that for sure.
I know.
As we roll through the rest of our
I know.
facts. But
All right. So
I think one of the cool things about Tortoise Creek is certified sustainable, and you talked about Mountain Greve, not necessarily like carrying
which we love,
not necessarily carrying the certifications and those things that give you that rep, right? We're all touting that rep, right? So I think about the number of wines that don't necessarily have the organic stamp on them, but something like this that is certified sustainable. Like, explain that to me and what separates that process here differently.
So there's a couple different things, and one is like with the Tortoise Creek wines. On some of the wines, you'll find the Lodi Rules little certification on the back label, and that's like a third party that comes into the vineyard and not only says you guys are doing this right, you're using sustainable, irrigation practices, catching rainwater, using solar power, not using lots of chemicals or pesticides or any fertilizers. The fertilizers and pesticides that we do use are all derived from nature, like sulfur. Sulfur is derived from a rock. It's natural, and it's also a naturally occurring process in the winemaking process. Sulfur. So there's things like that we use. But there's being able to not use these chemicals that I think are so detrimental to the earth. That is very key in a lot of these. But like in some cases, if there's somebody within 20 miles of our property in California, we can't get that certification because those chemicals can get into the water table, or they can be lifted up into the atmosphere if they're within 20 miles of your property. And in Europe, it's about 50 miles. And so the regulations are much.
I think that's some of the things that I was thinking of that are just like so fascinating to me, like, which make perfect sense. 50 miles of.
It's much stricter in Europe than America.
Yeah. And while you read that, I will ask you about the Lodi area. So
the Zinfandel. I've got a picture of these great vines.
So it's funny because I've been to I'll pull it in there, but
and side note, thank you, Felicia. I'm loving that. Yeah, I'm loving being opened up to new wines, and I'm so glad another Scorpio enjoys the show.
Oh, Felicia is enjoying the show. Nice. Thanks, Felicia, for tuning in. We appreciate that.
Great support every week.
So, Charlie, though, Lodi, I've been to California and many California wine regions, but I've never been to the Lodi area. Can you describe it just generally, like what it's like?
Yeah.
If you were to go there.
I have a map right here. Can you guys see that map?
Yeah.
And so Lodi is right here, right in the middle. So you're basically an hour, 45-minute drive directly east inland from San Francisco. And so if you look here, you have the Sierra foothills right here. There's a mountain range right there. And then right here, this is the San Joaquin Basin. And so you've got this like basin that's like the same level as the ocean that's got all this cold water.
Yeah.
And then you have this like mountain range that's blocking a lot of the weather systems. And so it's a really fertile area as well, because you can see all these river systems.
Yeah.
Those things are very important with winemaking. You need the sun reflection off these rivers to really reflect on the leaves, to really make these plants thrive. And there's also an old delta. And so you've got like all this amazing soil that's really old fertilized sediment from these old riverbeds from back in the day.
Yeah. Okay. So if you were to go to Lodi, because like I said, I've been to a numerous places in California. What is Lodi just like as a town?
It's really cool. There's like about 12 restaurants and 5 different wine shops. Here's actually a picture of the vines as well. That's not a very good picture though. It's a really cute little town. There's actually some beautiful, wonderful restaurants there.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like a place that you would, like Is it like a weekend place?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, people go up there from San Francisco all the time. This is sustainability at its best there.
Yeah.
Where you have turkeys. I mean, these are part of the wild mountain range that you need, or these
Yeah, it looks,
hills.
that's super cute.
Yeah, and you
Love that
need
turkey.
this vegetation is very important in the vineyards. And then these wild boars that I was talking about that we had problems with,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is their footprint, and this is the kind of soil. Look how like this soil
Oh
is so
wow. Yeah,
fertile.
that's super cute. Yeah.
And then this is the actual vineyard that I took that photo in.
Oh wow,
And
beautiful.
you can see all that kind of growth in between the rows of
Yeah.
vines, and all of that's not just
I can
grass.
almost smell it.
There's several different plant species there that are growing between these rows that are all attracting different bugs and things in the air that are actually perfect for the plants.
Yeah, that's really cool. All right, so let's
Let me stop sharing so I can see you guys again. Here.
let's try the Zen, since we talked a little bit about the cab.
So that Zin is really cool because it's 82% Zinfandel.
Okay.
And it's got 14% Petite Syrah. And one of my favorite grapes on the planet is Tannat. And Tannat is a very astringent, kind of like a very tannic, masculine grape.
Oh my God.
And it really balances.
Tannat is having its day right now.
It is?
Tannat is having its day right now. Everybody's talking about Tannat right now. It's super trendy, super popular. It's having its day right now.
And this wine it's got a really good balance of that. You can still smell, for me, Tannat.
So it's got Tannat in it?
It does, yeah. And Tannat has that wonderful like blueberry smell to me, or like leather. And you can smell that in this wine, but this wine also smells like almost grilled watermelon.
I never would have described it like that.
Watermelon, but it's also got like prunes and pears and like, I even smell some flowers in there.
Yeah,
it's got
of course.
some roses and a little bit of violet.
Yeah. So it's only Zen, Tannat, and
Petite Syrah.
Petite Syrah.
Yeah. But mostly Zen, 82% Zen. So mostly
So where
Zen.
do you think all that floral stuff is coming from?
That's the Zin. And Zin can be so like candy-like and floral and like really soft and sexy and smooth.
Yeah,
and
of course.
All of that. You know what I mean?
Of course.
I love that. That's one of my things I love.
Zin is when I first started drinking red wine in college, Zin was it. I started drinking Zin. It was Ravenswood Zin.
It's a good one, yeah.
Because you could find it anywhere. It was probably like $10 a bottle, and
Raven on it.
I mean, it was delicious, and so Zen was my very first delve into red wine.
My mom used to say that like Zinfandel is one of those wines that you can actually drink in the morning in a teacup. It's so smooth.
I love
it. It looks
mother.
like coffee. If someone gives you shit, it's like, hey, I'm drinking coffee, man. And if it's in a teacup.
That's awesome.
But it is very smooth.
But also, these are really food-friendly wines too. Definitely. I mean, the way that the wines are made, and that's a testament to I mean, sure, Charlie, yes, but I think Mel, and going back to the restaurant experience and having been a restaurateur, and then kind of maybe not falling into the wine game, but also if you're a restaurateur, I think you should be in the wine. You should be thinking wine most of the time. Yeah. And so these wines this is a Zinfandel that is not going to punch you in the face. It's something that you can have with a piece of salmon even, or a piece or chicken or something like that. So, and all of the Tortoise Creek wines, I bought Tortoise Creek wines for my hotel when I was in New York back in 2006 maybe, or 2007. And it was the Carignan, which I think was just French at the time.
It was.
I don't think we were doing I don't think we were doing California wines yet, but they were always incredible food-friendly wines, and they still are. And the price, I can tell you guys, when I was a person on Charlotte's side buying wine, the price has not changed that much since 2006 or 2007. to 2021. That's a testament to not only just the philosophy of what, you know, the master wines are, but just, you know, these guys, they want to make sure you can get these wines in your hands. That's really the goal, to get it on your table on a Wednesday or a Thursday or a Friday night, no matter what.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Thank you so much for saying that. And it's funny you said that, because that Carignan, we still make that wine. It's just called Montgravé Carignan now. We actually do make that.
Which
It's
we
the same
love
farmer.
and sell.
I know. So God bless you guys. So that's the same wine that we made when it was Tortoise Creek Strength wine. And, you know, that's a testament about the relationships that we build with these farmers. You know, like Mike was saying, it's important to realize that, you know, we're trying to make wines that we as a family can personally drink Monday through Friday. I mean, I've got a grown-up wine fridge in my garage because I have teenagers, and it's got a lock on it. And I've got a case of Montgravé red, white, and rosé in that fridge all the time because I like them all cold, and I lock it up. But like, those are kind of wines that when people come over, as a winemaker, they're like, "What wine are you going to drink?" I'm like, you know, weird stuff like Carignan, you know, Salso and Colombard. I'm going to make it open. I like weird grapes. I mean, I love Cabernet, don't get me wrong, and Zinfandel, but like my favorite grapes are weird stuff like Tannat, Carignan, Salso. Yeah.
We always have the Montgravé Carignan. We always have the Montgravé white, and we always have the Montgravé rosé in stock.
You know, we're going to be putting that in a box this year. So in the next couple months, you'll have 3-liter boxes of Montgravé rosé coming into the market. And I heard you talking about cans earlier. We have the Tiamo 250 milliliter cans. They kind of look like
we have those.
Oh my God, we have
it's like these little cans like this.
We have those.
How do I do this? There we go.
Yeah.
We'll get them. I think I don't know.
No,
but
wait,
it was a purple flower.
It is.
Yeah, we've had those in the past, and we will make sure we have those in the future. So because around here, you got to have the canned wine. So
absolutely, and I
with
think
all the fun that you can have.
Is a number of times you guys are customers will call and say, I need a case of wine, put it together, you know, 12 bottles under $20. This is what I want. And they want a variety of interesting things. Like, I'm not going to put 12 of the same thing in the box for them to try. And so when customers are open to exploring those grapes that they've not ever had before, well, I primarily like Cabernet Sauvignon, but then I kind of like a Pinot Noir sometimes, but maybe I want something else that's lighter and goes with everything. Then that's a shoe-in for a bottle that is going to go in there. Both of these, the Tortoise Creeks, both the Zinfandel and the Cab, and everything line items, $13
for tonight. Yeah,
$13 for the Tortoise Creek, which is an amazingly
We should have said
price.
that earlier tonight. $13. Yeah.
But then the Montgravé and the Carignan, I mean, still at $10 a bottle, it's so approachable, and from a palatable standpoint in our area. The red is so easy drinking. Totally can go.
The white is, we can't keep it in stock.
Oysters, like shellfish, everything seafood. I mean,
also, really hot, spicy food like that Montgravé white. If you're having like Thai or Vietnamese or Indian or Mexican, and you have a fire going on in your mouth, that Colombard acidity puts that fire out like that. And it's only like, 11.5% alcohol. So you could literally drink the whole bottle if you're kind of an alcoholic like me, alcoholic, and still have a bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon for dinner afterwards.
And you can build an entire master wine box of wines under $20. You could do Le Charmel Rosé. Oh, Charmel Rosé right there. Boom. We did not plan that, just so you know. We did not plan that. But you could do Tiamo Chianti, if you want, if you're going to have pizza night. You could do Syrah Grenache. You can do Prosecco, or an organic Prosecco from Tiamo with a beautiful little sunflower, or maybe it's a daisy. Forgive me, Charlie, I can't remember, but
you're right.
Sunflower on the front of it for an organic Prosecco, and a Chianti and a Rosé, and you could do a whole master wine sacks, it would be pretty awesome. There is a Chardonnay from Tortoise Creek too.
There is.
And so, again, and like what we were saying with Charlie is just not to be too kitschy like we are a little bit here, but that's always fun to be kitschy. Hashtag that shirt. But that's all good, Charlie. We love you. We're trying to keep it fun. But there is something to be said about just, hey, look at that. Oh, let's see the socks. Oh.
Did we just become best friends?
There's so much room for activities. Oh my goodness.
It's too much. I can't stop.
Did we just become best friends?
But you can do those wines, and they're all going to be, between $12 to $18 or whatever. It's awesome.
Yeah, Monday through Friday, and then on the weekends, drink other people's wine. We're fine with that, But Monday through Friday, that's what we do in our family, anyway.
Yeah, we love it so hard. I mean, like, your wines are so awesome.
They are. They're delicious and approachable from a price point standpoint and from a consumption standpoint. They're really, they check all the boxes. I think from a Zinfandel, like if you're accustomed to the American approach of Zinfandel, I don't want to say American approach because that like diminishes it. But Cabernet, if you're comfortable with Cabernet and Zinfandel, these are delicious, amazing, approachable wines.
Yes.
If you're explorative, and I love the people that are like, I'll take your recommendation, Jessica. Sure. When I'm like, try this card, you're gonna love this. Just trust me, and they do. It's across the board.
All of those wines. So
Definitely.
We're so fortunate to have found you.
You guys, we are so thrilled and lucky, and it's because of like our partners, Adam and Jordan and Yale Sager. The relationship that we have with them that helped us be able to get these amazing relationships with all these amazing farmers. But what we really pride ourselves in is literally, enjoying moments with people like you guys.
Yeah.
And that, listening to your points of view over the last 35 years of our lives has made these wines so versatile and so
cool.
acceptable.
Well, I'm hoping though that you will be able to come visit us in next year.
Michael, give me the word. As soon as you give me the heads up, I will come down there. I have so many unused miles, and I need to come down.
I can't even with this.
I need to hug some humans for sure.
I can't even with this. I'm like, yes, please come. Please come.
Please, I would love that.
I'll tell you too, Charlie. Every producer that comes to Florida wants to come to the Panhandle. It's true. I mean, you talk to anybody in California or in Italy or in France or in Germany, they love the Panhandle. We really like to have a good time here. We really do.
I love it.
We are the upside of Florida. We're the only part of Florida with 100%
we are that side of Florida.
And pretty gorgeous locations. So.
It's awesome, and we would so love to have you. And so we're not going to hold you to a month, but we do hope that you will come within the next 6 months.
Yeah, no, give me a date. I'll come down in May. I would love that. Seriously.
May? You want to come down in May?
Bring it on. I would love that. Please, let's plan it.
Up on May.
I'm there. I'm down there. Let's do it.
Let's do that.
Set a date.
You're jumping the gun. You're jumping the gun a little bit. I was just about to send out my invites for Burgers in Beaujolais on Memorial Day weekend. Every year I do Burgers in Beaujolais. It's my Memorial Day weekend party. So you've just made it. You figured it out, man.
We could chill Montgravé Rose Red instead. I'd be down there, man. I'd be honored to be down there and play with you guys. Seriously, thank you.
We want to come play with us.
Yeah, I love you guys. I can't wait. Thank you so much for doing this. You guys are amazing.
Thank you so much for coming and joining us.
I'll keep making these great wines if you guys keep loving them like you do, man. You guys are amazing.
And no, we love all your wines. So we do. Montgravé, Tiamo, and of course the Tortoise Creek. So we really enjoy those. Stop laughing at me.
I love you girls. You guys are badass.
We love you.
I love you. Michael, you're awesome too.
She's also excited that you're coming in May.
I'm there. I'm coming. Let's plan a date. I'll email
put a date
JC.
on it.
We'll get JC to come too.
Do we have to?
Come on. Love you guys. Thank you.
Bye.
Love you. See you soon.
All right. Take care. Thanks.
Bye.
I can't stop giggling.
Oh my God.
I don't know why.
I know. I was like, why are you still laughing? We all laughing because he said he's going to bring Jesse.
That's exciting. No, it's exciting to be. Somebody said the other day, have you been somewhere? Have you been to wine country? And I'm like, no, because I haven't been able to travel anywhere. So the excitement.
None of us have been.
Overtook. It was overtaking.
So
Let's
funny.
move on.
We love
Next
Charlie
week.
Master, and
We
we
do.
so hope he comes to us to visit for. I mean, maybe
Anytime.
Maybe
I
it's
think
gonna
May
be
is a
next
bit
time.
advantageous, but
We'll
perhaps the
see.
fall.
We'll see.
Whenever. But certainly
see.
having some kind of opportunity to meet with people beyond our scope.
Yes,
in the
of
wine
course.
store
We
and
miss
certainly
him,
will be wonderful.
and we love him, and hopefully he'll come. So,
Reel this shit back in.
so Fix, tell us about my bestie from Sancerre is named Laurent, and I'm
Who I didn't know until last week was actually a family member of Henri Bourgeois. He
Yes.
just said he was a national sales director last time we met with him, but he's actually a family member of Henri Bourgeois.
So Henri Bourgeois is my those are my go-to people in Sancerre. I go to Sancerre quite often. It's my home away from home, and I love all those people. And so I don't know why Michael Fix is walking away right now, because we're going to ask him. I don't know what he's going to do, but so next week we have Laurent.
the rosé. We just
I
have
know.
the rosé. and
So
I'm
we're going to do the
excited. We haven't had
rosé
that for a while.
and the Cab Franc from let's bring Michael Fix in.
Let me unmute him.
All right.
I'm here, girl. I've been here.
We're gonna unmute you.
We're unmuting you.
So yeah, we have two different Petit Bourgeois wines, which are the kind of the introductory wines to the Henri Bourgeois family of wines. A lot of people that are watching and who are familiar with the store are familiar with the Sauvignon Blanc, the Petit Bourgeois Sauvignon Blanc. It sells like crazy. It's an amazing wine. It's a great way to experience Sancerre-like wine without paying Sancerre pricing.
That's true.
But when I talked to Laurent, I said, hey, we're about to finish up, we think, the virtual tastings. We'd like you to come back to kind of tie a bow on, kind of what we've done. Since
Yeah.
we had such a great time with you, and we'd like to bring you in at the end because we love you. We love Sancerre, and we love he's just such a sweetheart. And he's been to Pensacola many times. He's a great guy. But the great thing about this is we get to experience something that's a little different. Some rosé from the Loire, which is not something that people have very often. They have it from Provence, usually, or Languedoc and stuff like that. And this is a rosé of Pinot Noir. And it's on that Petit Bourgeois level, And then we're also doing a Cabernet Franc, which is going to be really, really fun. And some people are probably going to be maybe a little surprised by that slightly, because they might think Cabernet Franc from Bordeaux, or they might think Cabernet Franc from Napa, definitely, and Argentina, places like that.
Yeah, we've only done one. We've only done the La Madrid.
From La Madrid, and that's the only one we've featured in here, and so I'm excited to explore that one.
But one of the most famous places to have Cabernet Franc wines from is Chinon in the Loire Valley. Now, this is not going to be the same area, but, not that far away, and similar mindset, a similar winemaking philosophy, and a great way to experience some wines from Henri Bourgeois that people have never had before. Almost everybody who's ever had Henri Bourgeois wines is always going to have had either the Petit Bourgeois or the Sancerres. So this is a good way to experience something that's very different that most people have never had. Even people who love these wines, and many people do. They love these wines from this shop, and there's a couple restaurants in town that serve a lot of Henri Bourgeois Sancerre or Sauvignon Blanc. So this is going to be a nice change of pace for everybody, I think. And, hopefully, maybe Laurent will send us some Sauvignon cheese, but I don't think we have enough time for that. But maybe it will happen. I don't know.
Well, maybe. Probably not. Maybe, but probably not. We'll
Well,
see.
I'm excited because the Henri Bourgeois has been a top seller for us, certainly
For a long time.
For a long time. But in the year that I've been a part of the team, it's been wonderful to see that kind of presence consistently, much like the Montcrevet to some degree. But Henri Bourgeois, it holds that level of panache and just beautiful representation of an area that is consistent and solid, and so we always have the Sancerre in stock, and then to have the Petit Bourgeois, which is a slightly lower price point for someone that's like, well, I like the Sauvignon Blanc, but I'm not quite sure. It's a beautiful.
If you're looking for a Sancerre, but you don't want to pay the price of a Sancerre, the Petit Bourgeois is your go-to.
And then also the Clos Henri, which is the New Zealand organic vineyard.
It's New
Did I
Zealand.
say that right?
Yeah, Clos Henri.
Clos Henri. So that's our New Zealand vineyard. To have an organic option that checks all the boxes for people that want to stay in that organic, sustainable, biodynamic. I have headaches. This bothers me. I don't know. I want to know what I'm drinking. Obviously a lot of vineyards are already making those practices because they've been around for so long. But this one says on the label and in print, we fill all those boxes, and so it's an amazing representation in New Zealand too.
What's weird for me, not weird for me, but what's part of this situation for me is that I love holy crap, dog just came in. I mean I'm a big Sancerre fan. Come here, baby dog. Yeah. Okay. So Sancerre is my home away from home, and I love this place. Love it so hard. And I'm so excited that we'll be able to talk about it tomorrow or next week because, I mean, again, it's my home away from home.
And it's really a beautiful region.
I mean, I can't
really
even tell you. I feel like I someday will probably live there. And so we'll talk about that tomorrow, next week. But hey, dog.
Francois says, thank you so much for joining us here at Aragon. It's the end of the show. And next week, we're going to be doing the Henri Bourgeois.
And I can't wait to tell you all of the things that I know about Sancerre.
I can't wait to hear it.
And I know. I mean, I'm telling you, it's my home away from home. I lived there. I had a house there. So,
well, until next week, Michael Fix, thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you next time. Bon voyage.
Au revoir.
Au revoir. Get your canned wine. We're here till 7 tomorrow. Ciao.